Yo, what's up everybody? This is Zachary. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Roof. Joining me today is gonna be Carson, co-founder of Roofman USA. It's gonna be a great conversation, giving you another young point of view of the roofing industry and, give you some more information how to update the roofing industry. Listen up.
First thing I look for when I check out a roof would probably be the age of the roof, and if the homeowner knows roughly how old it is, the condition that it's in, if there's been any work recently done in the attic or around the gutters or anywhere on the roof realistically. Condition of the roof is second with age, I would say, just because your roof can also fail if it's your roof will also fail if it's getting older or if your condition has deteriorated in your attic. So if there's too much moisture in there, if you have rot going on, if the roof feels soft, pretty much anything around the entire perimeter of the house where the soffits and gutters and eaves are, through the insulation in the attic and the plywood on top of the roof. I'd say the main things that are important to look at and check out on your own roof would probably be making sure your gutters are clean and all the water that does hit the roof during the day or storms or anything else has the ability to get off of it. Another thing that would obviously be important to check as a homeowner is if you have any wet spots in your ceiling. Get a stepladder out, take a peek in your attic access every once in a while, once every couple of years or whatnot. See if you can't see any mold growth starting, if it feels a little soft in the attic, or if you're starting to notice any discoloration on your insulation, anything like that. Another big thing we see in the roofing industry is people putting in bathroom fans or kitchen fans that deal with hot, moist air going through the attic, and essentially a lot of times in the industry, you'll see people will just put a fan that vents into the attic because the attic itself is ventilated by code, but it's good to run those ventilation pipes all the way to the exterior of the home through the roof. So that would be another big one that we see, and an important point to check would be the fans and the exhausts in your attic. Stains and ceilings can come from many things. A lot of people always assume the roof is leaking, so they'll call out a roofer and have him walk around on the top of it and see if he can't see anything. Unfortunately, a lot of times the answer ends up being we can't find the leak, and there is something going on, but from the outside it's not extremely visible. So a leak through the roof could be one reason that there's a spot on the ceiling. A leak next to a vent pipe or where siding meets shingles, and essentially all of the parts where there could be a penetration, water could be getting through that. Another main source of spots on people's ceilings would be the condensation that they're dealing with in an attic. So a lot of houses, unfortunately, in Michigan here are not ventilated as they should be or adequately enough. So having air not be able to move through your attic can create a condensation issue where hot air is meeting moist air, and it'll end up creating an ice dam in the wintertime, especially up in the northern states, and all that moist air will turn into ice, and eventually springtime start leaking through, and you'll see spots especially around the corners and the exterior walls of your home. So if there is a spot on the outside walls of a house, normally in the roofing industry, we tend to deem that as a condensation issue because there's an air gap or an air leak somewhere versus it actually coming through the top of the roof. Skylights can leak for many reasons. Condensation being another big one. Most people put skylights in, kitchens or bathrooms, places where you're going to be dealing with water. It's going to be wet. So condensation could be a main issue for why your skylight is foggy, leaking, or looking wet. Another reason skylights could leak is because all skylights are not built the same. At Roofman, we use Velux skylights, which are lifetime warranted skylights. They're gonna cover basically everything that happens with that skylight for the lifetime of the structure. We're also going to warranty that in-house besides just relying on the Velux warranty, because you get what you pay for in the industry. And a good skylight is much more valuable than a skylight that's just, you know, a single layer piece of plastic or something that you pop in quick. What makes a roof rot kind of ties into the condensation thing again. I would say condensation is probably the fastest factor in rotting out of a roof, because if you have no ventilation, it's just going to amplify itself and end up progressing at an exponential level as it continues to get wet and more wet over the years. Obviously, roof leaks can add moisture into the attic and start deteriorating or rotting out a roof, but if you're able to move the air and you're able to ventilate the actual structure of the home properly, even if you do get tiny bits of moisture in here or there or something happens, a lot of times good ventilation will mitigate the possibility of rot. At Roofman, we use ice guard essentially around every penetration of the home. We use a thicker ice guard than the industry standard. Essentially everywhere that you're gonna have a penetration, where siding is gonna meet, where step flashing is gonna be going up the side of a wall, around pipes, in valleys, and especially the main use for ice guard is around the edges. In Michigan, it gets cold, so we don't want any of that standing water that could be sitting in a gutter or in a valley ending up freezing and backing its way up into the home. I would say the difference in a good roof and a bad roof ultimately boils down to workmanship and who is doing the actual installation of the roof. All of our installers are certified, factory trained. They've been doing this for over 20 years now. That would be the main difference. The second difference in what makes a good roof or a bad roof essentially would be the quality of the products being used. So that is mainly why the workmanship would be the most important, and the materials being used would be second, just because even if you use the best materials on earth, if they're installed improperly, it's going to void your factory warranty, and you're not going to be able to pass certain building codes and get your final inspections approved.